Daft Punk, Around the World, the bass line. Hello, welcome. So, I nearly got blown off Mary Poppins styles on my way here. It is so windy outside. If you're lighter than about 7 stone and have an umbrella, don't go outside tonight. We'll never see you again. Stay inside where it's nice and warm, and I apologise for the thudding. The ghost of the manager is still in our roof. Leave, poltergeist. So anyway, it is very, very, very windy outside, and that makes my life difficult walking here because I'm lazy at the best of times, and I decided, like a bit of a numpty, to walk between the library and the drama church SU type area, which of course I forgot turns into an absolute wind tunnel. So now my hair is parted 4 different ways from Sunday, and I'm already gasping for a drink the one day I forget my water bottle. So I apologise if I get a bit croaky here, and we'll get on with the show. So you've heard Daft Punk, always a good start. There's a bit of an interesting 80s kind of feel to this week's show, like there isn't always. But we do have, again, a newcomer. I'm trying to make this a thing where I have, like, newcomer corner. I won't call it that because that was off the tip of my head and it sounds silly. Unless you like the name, in which case we'll make it a thing. But we do have a new artist that I'm going to showcase to you guys. I'd like to make this a thing because we do get lots of nice free downloads and there are some promising people out there. So we'll get to that later. But first, I've decided you guys are going to get... let's see. I know. Here's a song from a film, and the film did terribly, but this song has stuck around regardless. You'll know it when you hear it. Here's John Parr with St. Elmo's Fire. That was John Parr with St. Elmo's Fire. Fun fact, that song was written for a film, as I mentioned, but was mostly written about an athlete, I believe, who wheeled in a chair, as in a wheelchair, across America, I believe. And this guy, John Parr, was very inspired by that. And St. Elmo's Fire doesn't have a lot to do with it, other than it was the name of the film he was supposed to write the title song for. I like that fact, mostly because I like that song. I like how it turned out. I think if he tried to actually write something about the film, it would have been very bland. But yes, hello. Has everybody been suffering a case of the Mondays? Because I know I have. Got January blues, although it's the first day of February. So, panic. Valentine's Day is only 13 days away now. Everybody panic. Actually, I'm not doing much this Valentine's Day. I have decided that I don't want to go out to dinner. Mostly because it'll be packed with the couples, everything is expensive, and chocolates cost a lot of money. I could make them, I suppose, but I'd just end up eating them. But as a change, I am going to make pizza instead. Not with pre-made dough, no, that's where the challenge comes in. Starting about 2 p.m, seeing as it takes about that long for it to rise, we're going to make pizza and eat that with maybe a film or do some crafty type stuff, which is what he wants to do. So that's my plan. So let me know your Valentine's Day plans. I know some of you have messaged me before and you've been rubbing it in that you're going away on holiday for it. You're going for a long weekend, or some of you even have enough money to go to a spa or something just as ridiculously expensive for us poor people. Stop rubbing it in, please. I'd be living on ramen if my mother wasn't such a kind and lovely person who sends me money for food. Thud. But yeah, I've lost where I was going. I keep getting distracted by that ceiling tile. Leave us. We're hoping to get a new studio soon, so hopefully by next September that won't be a problem anymore. So all my recordings will be thud free unless I kick the desk again like I did last week. Thud free is always a good way to go. But this place is a bit of a wreck, and that is my tedious link to the next song, which is about a wreck of a relationship described by a house. It's as close as I could get. This is Pink with Funhouse. Well, that was Pink with Funhouse, and I remember I said a couple of moments ago that I would be playing mostly 80s stuff. Well, tell a lie, because I've actually gone through and read what I've put on this playlist instead of just doing it from memory. And actually, I've put less on than I thought I did. There's a couple of 80s inspired things, but for a change, I haven't got everything 80s. So we may yet hear something else. Like Pink. I haven't played Pink in a while. I do like her stuff, especially her early 2000s Z, back when she first got signed and began the revolution of female artists, being... What am I trying to say? She was cool and she wasn't Britney. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I was a big Pink fan. Not as much as one of the girls I went to school with, though. Becky was obsessed with Pink. For her French oral examination, she spoke about the history of Pink, like where she grew up, her biography, that's what I'm talking about. Where she grew up, if she had family members, what she was doing, when her albums were released, for her, I think you had to speak for 5 continuous minutes, and she did that. I did the history of YouTube, or was that the Welsh oral examination? I forget, I'll be honest. Even if I found the notes these days, I'm not sure I'd be able to read them anymore. I am very much out of practice on both French and Welsh, which is depressing, because if I was any good, I'd be able to speak Welsh, some Greek, French, some Japanese, I guess, if I was being generous. Not very. I know enough to be able to get out of a situation, not offend anyone while I was at it, I think. But I'd like to think I'm fairly multilingual, although I've lost a lot of it due to laziness, illness, and living in England instead of in Wales. But you lose so much knowledge when you leave school, high school. The minute you stop, I never thought it was true, but the minute you stop being in education, you forget everything. Anyway, here is a request, because I still do those, remember? No? Okay. Well, I've got one for you. This is the Gypsy Kings with Bamboleo. I'm going to pronounce it that way because I can't pronounce it fast. This is a sunny song, requested because it's absolutely miserable outside. That was Bamboleo, not Bamboleo. Yes, by the Gypsy Kings. A song I hear many of you quite like, and I'll be honest, I do like it. It's so cheerful, but I always think of JonTron whenever I hear it, mostly because of that one skit type scene where he had Fox McCloud climbing up and down a wall. For those of you who don't know, i.e. my parents, Fox McCloud is a video game character, and it kind of makes sense in a very absurd humour sort of way when you see the video. So I'll stop talking about it now. Instead, I'll tell you about what's been happening at my flat today, which is we gained 2 rescue rats. Now, never had a problem with rats in our house, because my old flatmates had one, so when my new flatmates got some, after meeting ours, it wasn't a problem, although it does freak out one of our poor little flatmates. So they mostly stay in their room instead of in the living room as they were last year. But, we've gained 2 extra rats, so now we have 6 rats in one room. 4 girls and 2 boys. Now, boys are notoriously bigger and lazier, but these rats are huge. They look like wild rats. They've got the brown, coarser fur instead of the silky smooth fur of our little purebred girls, or, mangy purebreds. Pet shop rats, But, and they're massive. They're the size of my forearm, quite easily, with their tails. Sorry, I kind of stumped for a minute, because I'm trying to... I don't know why we ended up with 2 boys, other than my flatmate's a big softie, and I'm calling her out on it. This, I reckon, is a coping mechanism, because she's just been dumped. She has nothing to do with her free time, and it's easier to take care of rats than it is to drink for this woman, because you spend as much money, but you feel less bad the day after, and they love you unconditionally, which your hangover doesn't. That's what I'm going to say anyway. So, Emma, if you're listening in, as I told you in the kitchen, I think you've made a horrible decision, but at the same time, more pet rats, and I'm happy with that, even if it freaks me out. Sorry, Emmy. I like animals. I don't mind what kind of animal they are. I personally want a snake, a pet bearded dragon, fish, cats, dogs. But that's for when I can actually afford pets, which I can't right now, which makes me sad. But we all have our crosses to bear. Speaking of 80s inspired, here is Swiss Lips, a band that I don't think gets played enough, but admittedly I've only really listened to a few of their tracks, but I do like what I've heard. They're on YouTube if you want to go and listen to more. So this is Carolyn by the Swiss Lips.
This is Frequency Radio.
This is Frequency Radio, and it is exactly 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9:30, because I'm sad and I saw the clock ticking down, so I thought I'd share. Yeah, so it's exactly 9:30. It's Monday. It's the 1st of February. I've been through this, but I thought I'd say it again. For those of you who have just tuned in, we still have our newcomer yet to come, I suppose. No, we still have yet to play our newcomer to the scene, which I hope you'll like. But we're going to keep this break short and sweet because I'm gasping. So while I try and absorb some water molecules from the air and gently swear at that banging roof tile and wonder about why my finger's circulation sucks so much, despite the fact that it's actually surprisingly warm in here, considering I haven't had to put my jacket on yet. And thank my mum for my big, thick new socks to put inside my docks so my feet weren't cold on the walk over. I'm going to play you a little Bruce Springsteen because, well, I'll be honest, I like him. He's that perfect level of cheese that it's like Barry Manilow. I know you're not supposed to like him because he was popular, but he's harmless, let's face it. He is absolutely harmless. And, you know, who doesn't like a little Bruce Springsteen? Don't answer that, because you're probably the kind of person that likes Phil Collins. Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark. Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark. Some of you may question why I decided to use the version with the clapping. Well, I'll be honest, it makes me feel better when I come back. And, somebody's clapping for me. Welcome, return the queen of radio. Narcissism. Yeah, narcissism and ego boosting. No, but we do have an ego to boost. And by that I mean we are gonna finally play the newcomer corner, or whatever I decided to name this bit. No, we have a new appearance in the rock scene. Now, just going to plug it in there, in case they get famous. I have it on tape. Tape? MP3 file formatting. Nobody uses tapes anymore, except probably me, because I'll usually end up with an old banger when I grow up. That's fine. I've got all my granddad's old tapes. That's quite good. They're all full of Glenn Miller type music. Anyway, I'm sidetracking here. What I meant to say was I have bragging rights, because I grew up in the same town as these guys, and I actually went to college with them, or at least sixth form. And, well, two of them. This is Nova Luna, or NOVA/LUNA. It's one of those titles, I'm sorry. You can find them on SoundCloud, so if you like the track, go and support, go like it, go whatever. I hear that they are planning to release this on Bandcamp, I think, so you can pay however much you want to put to actually purchase a copy of this. And this is Eventide. This got actually played on BBC Wales. That's the one. I was trying to say BBC Radio Wales then. No, this was listed on BBC Wales top 10 new apparent people bands in rock. So, promising. I hope you like them. There isn't much more to it than that. I'll let the song speak for itself. That was Eventide by Nova Luna. Very chill track. I'm looking forward to hearing more of their stuff. So that's it. I'm going to be sharing a link to their Facebook page, which has a link to their SoundCloud later on this evening. So if you like them, go support. Local act, if you're from North Wales, be proud. It's not often North Wales actually ends up in the limelight. It's usually the Southerners that make decent music around here. I'm not saying anything about something about the water, but I might be saying there might be something in the water. Yes, so we're going to play Fontella Bass, which everybody mistakes for, of course, our queen, Aretha Franklin. But no, this is Fontella Bass with Rescue Me, because, well, I feel like it. and I'm still gasping. I've yet to get up, but I don't know if we have any mugs around. This is why you should always think ahead. Learn from my mistakes. If you ever have to go to a meeting or talk for longer than 10 minutes, always take a water bottle. Have it on a keychain. I don't care, just take one with you. I suffered so that you may learn. I feel like that's something all high school teachers should have printed to their foreheads. They did suffer for us, and I dearly apologise to, any of my IT teachers, because I kind of understood it, so I just messed about. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Anyway, rescue me, Fontella Bass. Rescue me, Fontella Bass. What's not to love? This show's so cheerful. I hadn't realised until I've been playing through this playlist. And it's actually really cheery. Maybe it's a self-preservation thing, because I have had the worst case of January blues that I've had in a long time, to the point where I made the horrible mistake of writing a blog post the first time in 2 years. I'm not sure how well that turned out, but I did it for my benefit more than anything. Although it is a playlist, so if you're curious, continuallyrambling.wordpress. It is a playlist that helped me deal with this current set of stress and university, and also on top of that, mild discomfort and unhappiness due to grey lights and no sunshine and lack of vitamin D. Ugh. If anybody else out there is struggling, I feel you. Hopefully, now that it's semester 2, all your exams are done, so you don't have that stress on top of it. But, I feel you. I feel your pain. You know, those of you who are working as well, it gets better. Your boss won't always be so horrible. You know, you never know, they might get replaced. Or leave. Fingers crossed for either both, or you get a promotion, so you don't have to be in that office. I've got my fingers crossed for all of you. We'll all be happy at some point one day. Keeping it cheerful. Here is a song that I discovered 2 years ago. I don't know why I like telling you when I discover things. I just find it fun. All I remember is I was in a coffee shop and it played, and a friend of mine was absolutely stunned because it was kind of ridiculously hilarious if you listen to some of the lyrics when you're not really prepared for the song. So this is Kid Creole and the Coconuts with Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy. That was Kid Creole and the Coconuts. Do you see what I mean about the lyrics, though? They still make me laugh. If I was in your blood, you wouldn't be so ugly. I mean, there's denying heritage, and then there's just being cruel. So, it is 10 minutes to, so we're going to wrap up and play our final 2 songs. As you know, I like to finish on a jazzy, swingy, bluesy track. Not swing, what am I talking about? Get my genres confused. I know what I mean. So we're going to finish with that shortly. But in the meanwhile, I am going to complain that it started raining. What? No! It's done this to me all week. Every time I have to go outside, the weather gets worse. Oh, you've got an appointment at 1? Well, tell you what, it's going to be glorious until 12, and then it's just going to chuck it down, because Preston weather. And it's not irony, it's, well, no, because if it was ironic, then Alanis Morissette would have sang about it, wouldn't she? And she can't use that word correctly. I'm staring at it now, and it's that horrible kind of drizzle that just gets in your face and stings your eyes. Ugh. Everybody stay inside, stay warm, don't get blown away by the gale winds. Everybody in North Wales stay safe. Stay safe. As well as Scotland and the north generally, because we're supposed to have more storms and winter weather coming our way. Joy of joys. So I'm going to start our send-off by playing a little bit of the Kooks, because we're going to keep this cheerful thing going as long as I can. So here is She Moves in Her Own Way. And that was the Kooks with She Moves in Her Own Way, which I regularly get confused with another band, and I've forgotten what it is, but they all sound very similar. I've noticed actually a trend in new artists that I'm going to bring up before we close off tonight. I've noticed a trend in that we seem to have a bit of a thing for scouting for girls at the moment. All the new rock music I've heard seems to be pulling... I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to be influenced by, but, you know, what a odd band. It's just such a strange thing, you know. It's just... Why scouting for girls? There were other bands, better bands, I'd argue. They're not the worst, but... I've been through this before. I have a very kind of love-hate relationship with Scouting for Girls. One of their albums is okay, and I wish I was James Bond as decently funny, but what about the rest of it? I don't know. I'm just being picky with my music again, because I can, it appears. So we're going to sign off very, very soon. So I just wanted to say goodbye, good night, everybody. Stay inside because it's raining and horrible and nasty and do not want. I'm going to get so damp walking back home. I hope you will appreciate the sacrifices I make for you, because it's just such a hassle getting here. I mean, you know, I've got to walk like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Well, no, I've got to walk 10 because I've got to go up and get the keys first. And then on top of that, I have to, you know, get into the studio, turn the alarm off if nobody's in before me. It's a big deal for very, very lazy people like myself. No, so what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, I really appreciate you all. This is where I'm actually going with it. No, I joke. I love this gig. And I'm very happy to still be doing it, despite the fact that I'm ill and mostly usually cold. And thank you very much for listening in. We'll be back again, hopefully next week. Yes, we'll be back in again next week, but possibly not the week after, because we may have plans which we'll share next week. So, on that note, I'm going to leave you on one of the classiest men I've ever stumbled across, even though my mother hates him. Yeah, it's him again. Frank Sinatra. So here is goodbye and good night from me, Georgia Brown, on Eclectic Airwaves. Happy Tuesday coming up. Have a good week.